many times, mostly with Ruler, to be perfectly honest.
Also allows you to keep alive whichever target fights go for, right? So you're able to absorb the initial burst, and we've already seen how deadly this lane can be. KT really taking a lesson from what we saw yesterday by BLG as well.
And makes it very hard even for the Rakan to operate in the lane, so I love this. I think it's such a smart pickup, and we're starting to see it creep through more and more. We were talking about the LPL counter picks at the start of the day, but it's been Lehens that has definitely been in a great spot with the Lulu, now the Renata, bot lane Prio. You're going to have some good control over mid as well. I think this is where KT can try and see if they can find the same team fight prowess that they had in game 1 coming into game 2.
Well, Kai'Sa and Zeri both taken away. Ruler going to have to go to something different here as we move to his pick in this draft. Poppy taken away from Cuz certainly could provide a lot of value, as there goes the Rel that Kanavi piloted in the last game.
And Viego is open, but it doesn't really feel like a Viego draft. With the Orianna, we'll see what Cuz actually ends up picking up.
I thought they might just go back towards the Jax here, especially since 369 didn't look particularly comfortable in that last matchup. Get that for yourself. Maokai is also up and available, but I think, okay, well, yeah, I was just going to immediately go for the Viego. I kind of agree with what Chronicler was saying, though. This doesn't really feel like the angle to go for it. You don't really have a huge amount of setup on your fight at the moment. It's a lot more like, hey, we're going to absorb pressure, whereas Viego wants to try and have these split out skirmishes where he can actually start to get rolling, which I don't think is what KT are going for.
Well, the Jinx certainly fits into Ruler's wheelhouse. They are going to lock that one away. Alongside Rakan, a little bit more aggressively flavored than what we've seen in other Jinx lanes, often paired to the Tahm Kench this tournament. Aatrox to be locked in for 369, feeling very 369, especially this tournament, man. Oh my goodness, he's been so good. KT, what is going to be this R5 for Keen?
We haven't actually seen the Cassante really be contested, and I feel like the Aatrox coming up has been such a big part of that because it's such a good matchup into it.
Also, I mean, great matchup, Carson or Nectin. This used to be a matchup where you'd look and go, hey, whoever gets that first blood or gets the advantage starts to snowball it. But the more and more we've seen this at Worlds, it just feels like you get the Gore Drinker, you get the Sterix, and Renekton can't do anything against this Aatrox regardless of kind of what state we're at. So I think 369 picking up this Aatrox kind of shows what we've been starting to see more and more in quarterfinals, is that this Aatrox just starts to take over games.
Very interesting situation, because KT, a very different draft to what we saw in game number 1. You're going to have to go toe-to-toe with these team fights. But also, they have, once again, a very similar bridging mechanism from the early game into the mid and late with that Renekton paired with the Viego.
And to me, the main difference is specifically BDD's role in this draft. You actually do have, again, a strong top 2v2. I do think that JDG this time around is a lot scarier, and I think the Nico really changes how a lot of those early skirmishes will play out. But it is, again, you know, Renekton and Viego can set up for stun for each other, get the early resets, and then a strong bot lane that should have priority. Even though in the last game we saw it did kind of go back and forth depending on jungle attention. Very different look though for KT. It was their 1-3-1/1-4 in the first game. The way they played the map, that was able to get them the leads. This time around though, looks a lot more like a straightforward teamfight composition.
I agree with everything the Chronic was saying, though. I think.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks, I think nice looking guy. At this, it is 100% the mid jungle matchup. I think it's just a case of Kanavi having that control with the Nico, and then when you look at an Orianna Viego, it's not exactly screamy, we're gonna take your fight, we're gonna absolutely destroy it, and I think that's where a huge amount of that JDG focus is going to be.
And it's also going to have to really be a change when it comes to what BDD is going to be playing like. In this game, he's not on Assassin this time around, but he is on Summoner's Rift. Here we are for game number 2. JDG looking to fight back once again on the blue side here. They're looking for that Golden Road, looking for that Summoner's Cup. And remember, you can log in to your Riot account on lolesports.com. You can watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons.
So in a highlight, Ruler actually there in the fountain flexing the Samsung Galaxy icon.
I know. Shout-outs to his current coach, right? Like, homie was on Samsung White and Blue, helping those teams when they won Worlds back in Korea a long time ago, 2014.
It's also one of my favorite parts, like seeing these little moments. We had it yesterday as well, Viego flexing Chovy's own emote at him as Chovy was getting
top esports as well.
I love those little moments. Shout outs to former teams or former rivals. Peanut, I think, also showcased the LGD one.
Yep, he loves the LGD one. He uses that all the time.
Okay.
Not quite as much as his Penguin one.
It's funny because you think he'd want to forget that time.
Well, I mean... yeah. Let's just move on from that, because I think forgetting sounds like a good idea. As KT is going to try and get this lane in order towards the bottom side. Bit of a treat, to be honest. The Renata piloted by Lehens here. But Lehens has had some ups and downs, most definitely. Throughout this season, and especially throughout this tournament as well, and especially the playoffs back in the LCK.
Yeah, it was Lehens dying like multiple times level 1 in that series that I think gave a lot of the early momentum over towards T1. Ended up being the downfall of KT, even with how close that series was. Is Kane actually able to get some early pressure going? And I do agree with you. I think this is still a very volatile top lane where whoever gets an early lead should be able to run with it. The main thing that I think is really interesting, though, and I think that LPL teams have been able to do this the best within the tournament, is the way that if you look at this, you're like, there is no real front line. But Aatrox has basically been utilized as a straight-up frontline, right? We've seen the teleport plays from 369 specifically.
369 himself.
The moment that Starix is done, really being able to be aware of how much damage you can take with the Gore Drinker, with the Starix, and still providing space for, in this case, Ruler as well as Knight.
And it was Ruler back in, some of the 200 years meta that we did see with Aphelios, really making the Jinx look like a great counter into it as well. His Jinx has been a treat for many, many years. We're looking forward to seeing how he's going to be able to utilize it, something that other players here at Worlds have already shown some success on.
And I think it's going to make team fights a little bit more difficult for KT, because a huge amount of what they wanted to do was, hey, we want to try and kite back, absorb the pressure with Lehens, with BDD, so you're running into the Orianna ball, and then we can pounce, right? But when you look at, okay, well, we've got Nico, can kind of just throw out a couple of things. You've now got this long range on the Jinx as well. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult for you to find those moments.
They don't know.
He's managed to sneak in. Cuz now looking for that opportunity. Knight, can he actually find it? Shape Splitter comes through to confuse them, but they will not be confused this time. First blood goes to Cuz, and KT are on the board.
And it's Cuz's pathing there is able to clear full towards top, and then just sneak by. A second later, he gets spotted, and Knight doesn't go down.
And Cuz has had an exceptional Worlds. Like, every single time, it's been a focus on smart pathing from him. The picks that he gets in the early stages, the fact he's able to get just barely past Kanavi after clearing out his jungle. It's great opportunities from Cuz that are being exploited here, and KT get first on the board.
Knight did have his teleport, so he makes it back to lane. BDD also, fresh off a reset, was Cuz that picked up the kill. Sometimes you'll say that a jungler getting killed, not a great thing. When it's Viego, I think you're pretty psyched about it. The ability to get resets in these fights, the fact that Bailout can also help try and turn those tides even easier. Looking forward to seeing what Cuz can make this slight advantage.
It's also just trying to get into that mid lane before JDG do, right? Because you can see here, Cuz has cleared out his entire jungle and wraps back around to this bottom side to sneak in just ahead of the vision. It's so well played. And here you can see BDD struggling against Knight, right? Using the range read really well, getting those tango barbs, but with the flash here from Cuz, they're able to secure that kill and strike first in a lane that JDG wanted to be playing around, and getting that early success for BDD means he can get the moment to Grantal on resets.
Yeah, because particularly in the early game, Nico is so aggressive to play into with a constant poke from your Q with Airy, and it's there where you really want to try and maintain as big of a lead on the Orianna, because BDD, he just wants to get full lane, right? The moment you get out of laning phase, even though I don't think there's an amazing ball delivery system on his team, Renekton will do in a pinch, but as soon as you are able to get to lane phase, particularly against Vi and Nico, you're feeling pretty decent. We'll see though, because I do think that at 6 there'll be another opportunity for Kanavi and Knight as this track being started up.
They're fighting super hard with bot lane cryo. I think Cuz wants to try and commit to this. Kanavi has to hop out of the pick because you can see with the Infernal bot side, they can't really go for Dragon. So Cuz now going to find Knight, but just able to back away.
Yeah. Blooming Burst will connect, but doesn't get the snare. And KT, the Dragon, very angry, has actually given a lot of attention to a lot of different players as they've traipsed up this river. He's going to go back to the pit now and is going to calm down. Ruler moving forward, looking for a bit of that splash damage. Be able to find it there, aiming just playing respectfully here on this bottom side, as once again Kanavi going to start up this break, is missing. Just handshook all over the place.
Oh, this time around though, I don't think KT can contest. Knight actually getting the prio. Early Drake might be going over. KT, they are still moving up though.
Level 5 for Lehens doesn't have that hostile takeover, as now they're looking for the fight. Grand Entrance is going to connect. There's the Pop Blossom onto Cuz. They know exactly who they want. Bailout not going to connect, and aiming has to flash to get out. Lehens gonna do the same thing. The Zap by the Renata, but that is still just a pickup for JDG, and they get the Dragon.
You called it, Atlas. They knew their target the second they went in there. They turn on Cuz because he'd already burnt that flash. They pick off the Viego, and they're trying desperately to kill Missing on the way out. But with Shockwave going wide, there's no one to follow up.
Yeah, really good. I think it was the, I don't know who flashed out of the Shockwave, but that might have denied the kill. And here, if Cuz is level 6 and he has his ultimate, this play doesn't work. But JDG identify that's not the case. And as we look here, yeah, Kanavi flashing out, Missing not being hit. And even if Kanavi gets hit, I don't think they have the damage. BDD, this is very early on, as you were saying. No Magic Mantle, great to get early Merc Treads. Not great if you want to try and burst down a target. And KT gets a little bit overeager.
Well, King is also pretty eager here towards this top side. Worldender in trade for the Dominus. And both top laners are going to back away.
Keen's been controlling this matchup though. I mean, look at the CS lead. He's been doing a great job of shoving in waves, trying to see if he can get a couple of chips on this blade damage. And with both ultimates being burnt there, the next question becomes, okay, well, can 369 trade back effectively so you can look towards things like the Rift Herald? BDD already in position, trying to get vision down, trying to spot out exactly where Kanavi is on the map.
And with all this action towards the mid and bottom side of the map, it's actually been Keen that's really been reaping the rewards. He's up almost like 600 gold towards the top side in the isolated 1v1. The Aatrox definitely going to struggle a little bit early. But I do got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised by Keen. I think that he was one of the weakest parts of KT thus far, as Kanavi meets yet again.
Lurking in the mist is Cuz, as Kanavi. That opportunity, of course, never in too much trouble. Actually, just going to say thanks for the
bot lane.
And yeah, we do have Ruler moving up. Knight already here in this river. And Missing also there as well. So it looks like this Rift Herald should just go over to JDG. Not a lot here that KT can do about it. Ruler already packing his bags, moving back down towards this bottom side to try and deny some of these plates, or at least pick up some of this CS.
Missing, because of the fight at Dragon and they picked up the wave, had the level 6 advantage. So Hens just picked it up off this wave that they pushed in, but JDG knew that with the push advantage and the level advantage from the support, they would have been able to contest. So KT back away, Ruler catches the wave, and we'll have to see now if this Rift Child is going to make its way to the bottom side, because I think you kind of need to accelerate this Jinx into a position where she can get 2-3 items, start to take over in that bot side and pick up more and more of these plates and get ahead.
So also, we haven't talked about it, but Amy did end up starting, of course, Shockwave
in this mid lane. Knight taking a lot of damage. Cuz also lurking around the side. It looks like Knight will just be able to work his way up. No flash needed. No harm, no foul.
But the fact that aiming does have the cloak, whereas Ruler doesn't, does mean that even with the CS lead, I think the gold will be pretty even between the two. It was really nicely done by JDG because of how quickly Ruler and Missing actually rotate towards bot, plus the fact that there was a cannon available. It means Ruler doesn't actually end up missing anything. KT don't even get a plate for giving up the Herald, and JDG win on both sides. Although Keen, still very happy.
Big old Crocodile here towards his top side. Grabs his second plate. It is very, very nice. So, some good news, but things still extraordinarily even as this game chugs on. And when I'm looking at this and an even game state, I'm thinking that the team with Jinx is feeling pretty good about just moving further forward. Range so good in these team fights later on, and they have so much peel available. Pop Blossoms, cease and desist, things like that. As Cuz on a ward here towards this bottom side. JDG just wasting a lot of his time here. Kanavi moving in as well.
Knight's on the way.
Yeah, there is the handshake, but it doesn't actually stop it. Teleports to come in. Lehans is trying to bail himself out, but it does not work. And now Knight's looking for the opportunity. Cease and assist on a BDD, and he gets picked up by the Pop Blossom. Has to flash. Moonlight Vigil is going to... And Aiming cannot find it. BDD is now running for the hills. He needs a dissonance if he wants to get out of this one. Dodges the zap, and that should be enough.
It's a disaster for KT. In game one, they managed to turn around the bot lane play, but JDG were ready this time. Knight has first move. They collapse onto bot, and that's a bunch of gold that's gone into the hands of the LPL #1 seed.
And really big there is that, BDD.
Whoa. The snare is not going to land. BDD's going to have to continue his work. Double Shockwave does come in. Dissonance damage is decent as well, but he still has to get out.
Yeah, BDD, even though he's able to get out of there, as the traps will keep Ruler safe. Teleporting into the middle of that if you're a Kali, great. Definitely going to work out. But you see here, as Orianna, it just doesn't have the same early impact as 369. Feeling confident here is not doing too hot when it comes to the items, but maybe hoping Keen overinvest, still going to catch the wave. These early skirmishes though going the way of JDG, is a really big difference from the previous games. Kanavi standing here, watching KT start this up, trying to equalize the Dragon score.
Should mean with the man advantage that KT have. Oh, never mind. Missing is still just diving into the back of this pit. Ball breaker is there it is. Oh, the secure does come through from Lahens. Missing, not going to quite find the engage he was looking for, though. Cuz going very, very low. It's a Hex Soul. This is going to be a big one, but the fight is still trying to get out with the grand entrance. Keen, can he find an angle? There is no! And Missing just traipses his way out of that one.
And the entire time, 369 on the top side. He's able to get some of the plates that are on this top end tower, even up that matchup. Dragon goes the way of KT, but they just couldn't quite get the kill on Missing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the investment, really if worth the investment, right? You spend the teleport, spend the flash on Renekton, which we know is a really big cooldown as BDD. Kanavi trying to get on top of him, but not going to catch him to speed up enough to get him out. But it will still be a win for JDG, right? They still zone away the Orianna. We'll be able to get the plates over the night and pick up some jungle camps. Good counter swing from JDG.
And now the question is, how do they want to try and use the fact that you have this teleport for 369? But we're going to get back into this bot lane fight, because immediately with Knight having that roam from mid, Missing feels confident to go in, gets the charm off the 2, sets it up to Amy to blow that initial cleanse. And then this TP, as Chronicle was saying, I mean, way too far forward for BDD. Knight's just able to walk in between everyone, and with Amy not having any opportunity to try and escape away, and the just missing on that Moonlight Vigil sets up beautifully then for JDG to turn that fight.
I'm wondering if that's a blessing in disguise, though, because if that hits and Cuz like baits in BDD to go in, I think Ruler could have ended up picking up a bunch of kills. Still gonna not feel great for KT though. JDG, this time around, they're surviving the early onslaught of KT. And with the early game that even, you gotta imagine, as you were saying, I think KT still have a lot of scaling elements with the Orianna and the Aphelios, but the range advantage of Jinx can be so hard to play into.
I mean, but game one, we would have said JDG had the better team fight composition, but KT outplayed it in the moment. Now, it looks like JDG a little bit more angry than the last game, I will say, and been doing a great job of turning around a lot of these early skirmishes. But KT have proven today that there are no pushovers, and JDG will have to throw everything at them to try and find this. Now with Flash coming back up for Knight, and also having that control on top side, you can see how much more active JDG want to be in pushing KT back, starting to get control of these towers and plates, and looking at this Rift Child in 20 seconds.
Lahan's looking for a little bit that logistics program. Keen taking a bit of damage here. Full combo from 369 is going to be good onto the Renekton, but just wants to get to this lane to pick up these minions where he can. Feels like 369 just feeling better and better in this matchup. Doesn't quite have his mythic as Lahan's taking a lot of damage here. As Knight does catch him out. Might have been a little bit of a switcheroo maneuver there. As Keen once again going to be chained up. As he's just wandering through the lane, getting these Culver Meeks off, and Good Ward is here for JDG, giving them all of the information that they could need.
That's like the 4th time. I really think that the biggest difference between this game and the last is how well JDG is able to keep track of Cuz on this Viego. They have been able to, I feel like right from the get-go, lane wards consistently. As we take a look at lane economy snaps, as a result, Kanavi being able to build up a huge lead.
It's a very different one here from Mastercard in comparison to game number 1.
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes of what Chronicle was just saying. The fact that, well, Cuz can't really be that front line, but can do damage if he finds Kanavi.
Yeah, Kanavi not taking that much just yet, but Lahens is in Cuz's back pocket. 369 has caught out Keen. He's trying to get to the team fight to help out the rest of KT. The Rift Herald getting involved as well. Missing, just going to get over that wall, should be A-okay. Maybe it's not Shellfish on the menu outside of the little one just outside the front door of Shirley. Of course, the name for the second Rift Herald.
Something we haven't discussed really yet is the fact that we are looking at a Hextech Rift. Both for like champions like Aatrox and Nico and the Renekton can be a really big boon as KT are looking to contest.
Yeah, it's a 5-man unit here from KT. Lahan's looking for the avenue, doesn't get it with the handshake as they're giving up on Shake. Four into the back line and now Missing. He's going to layer that scene. It's not going to save this massacre from JDG. BDD's going to flash, but 369 is still looking for more, and JDG win another team fight.
Knight says, BDD, you had your moment in the last game. Might have a bit of a moment now as Kanavi.
Yeah. No way. Of course he's flashing in. That used to be the ruler position. This time he's taking names.
And it's JDG taking down KT. They get the Rift Herald. They get the fight. They get the mid lane tower. JDG
Hindi, wala silang
It's Knight that sets up the play, but it's Ruler that's the one getting all the rewards. A 4-man knock-up. And from that point on, missing with the follow-up, ensuring the help. Lens has to bail out himself. That's when you know a fight is a bust.
And this is the thing, JDG had already cleared out all the vision behind them. They'd moved in to KT's red buff to contest it, so there's no vision to spot out Knight as he came in. He even teleported to the minion wave, not the mid-wave terror to finish that one off, so he can get that swing in. And then just the end, I mean, KT, they tried to get something back, but they just couldn't do it.
And you can see JDG, they are not ready to fully celebrate just yet. They're not standing up, they're not moving further forward.
It was a solid half squat though.
It certainly was.
Exactly the right level of celebration.
I think so, especially for a best of 5, especially when the stakes are this high. Trying to pave that golden road. They're going to have to win 3 of them out of the 5 potential. As Cuz going to give up this streak. The first Hex Tech going to go over to JDG here. Kanavi getting some free time with it.
And something we haven't really discussed yet, but I do think we're starting to see some of the issues with the KT composition is that there is no hard engage. Like, actually reliably picking someone up becomes really hard, and with compositions like this that are really good at absorbing an initial blow but have a really tough time outside of picking people to start fights, JDG has really been able, I think, to navigate around. There's been so many occasions already where you see, like, Keen on his little crocodile legs running after someone's like, I'm gonna start the fight, guys, I'm doing my best, but as long as JDG respects the very limited engage range, it's hard for KT to force fights on their own terms.
Especially now that this is JDG's comfort zone. Yeah. Mid lane towers down, right? We know how to play this out, lads. Push in mid, set up your vision on whatever side of the map you want to start taking these towers. We got Knight on bot side, fantastic. Let's play towards him. Now we rinse and repeat, reset, push mid, go top side for that last tower. You see 369 going to collect this top wave and probably immediately reset himself to then go to that bot side. 369 and JDG are so good at playing out these states of the map that it's going to be tough for KT to find those moments to answer back.
Feels like going through the motions here for JDG. That last team fight certainly could be a big turning point, that big moment where now the gears just lock into place. KT, they're pretty good at ruining gears. You know, this is a team epitomized by a roller coaster. So we'll see what they're going to be able to do to it. As Kanavi not going to find the ball breaker, but Keen going to have to slice his way out. He's not going to find the target. Missing. Still, he can lurk around, he can zone them away, and they're still going to grab the turret.
Yeah, so flash invested, but they do get a turret because of the fact that the rest of KT needs to respect. So I think you'll take that.
Unlocking Hex
nonetheless. I like it. Yeah, good point.
Got to make sure you get that value.
Also, just the value that this Jinx has at the moment is absolutely absurd. 2 items now completed. She'll be quickly working up towards that rapid fire cannon. Ruler is poised to take over this game, and nice, trying to see if he can take over against BDD.
Yeah, another shockwave to come through here from BDD as Pop Blossom comes down. BDD might just be okay with it. Super Mega Death Rocket will be avoided, and now the Clockwork wind up.
Whoa!
There it is, and 369, he wants to get this kill over to Ruler. He's running as fast as his little legs can carry him, but it's Kanavi that is going to end up taking him down. Still a 1-for-1, and he wins the solo kill there against Knight.
And the Summoner Spell advantage. JDG had to TP 369 in, so they lost control on this top side, and immediately KT respond. Shoving mid, getting control of this jungle. Cuz will be spotted here though, but I think he's going to be alright.
Yeah, missing. Just trying to do what he can to frustrate Cuz here. Doesn't have enough damage. Does Cuz? Or doesn't have enough of an ability to lock down a Rakan. It's not very many champions do.
And it says a lot about the state of the game as well, that even with JDG having to invest multiple people towards taking down BDD after he is able to win that 1v1, and KT still doesn't get anything on the other end of the map. They still haven't taken a single turret this game, right? Because JDG have been able to keep them away from those turrets very consistently, as we do see BDD, the one who set it at play, very aware of his own damage. And Knight just doesn't have the burst to take down, especially with the sidestep.
Oh, and Keen tries. Okay, wasn't actually able to get the W off.
Yeah.
Just not ruthless enough. Still may not have been too much of an
I don't
issue.
think it would have mattered. I think BDD dies anyway. actually might end up not feeling too bad about it, but maybe they could have punished 369 if they do get the cancel.
Yeah, would have had to wait and see. Now though, Knight, well, it's not Knight, but at least hovering around for a little bit here. KT will spot out that at least at the moment JDG are on the bot side and trying to push him out.
Yeah, Cuz looking for that opportunity. Got a couple of cooldowns here from missing, but he is absolutely fine.
Jungler.
KT not really looking like they have the same level of poise, level of control that they had in the last game.
I really want to highlight Missing, because to me, he's the one that is the most like, KT, what are you going to do? How are you going to let me down, huh? Like, the amount of disrespect and his continuous presence, moving forward, trying to bait out cooldowns, and maintaining the vision line for JDG is so big, because it doesn't really give KT the opportunity to try and get Keen in a flanking position, try and get Cuz onto the enemy backline. That's a ruler spot, but he has the support to back him up.
Certainly does.
He has everyone, and he has a Dragon in 30 seconds, so as long as he doesn't go down, he's okay. But as you say, I don't think unless you want to go in with the Moonlight Vigil or a Flash Auto from this Aphelios, you're going to be able to lock him down particularly much.
See whether KT can actually get themselves into a position to even set up for a 5v5. Of course, it is soul point availability, and it's a pretty good soul at that. For JDG, could really set them up to move towards that snowball. And Kanavi looking to get over this wall.
Yeah, looking at the item breakpoints, Keen just finished a Starix. I was about to comment on that because that was a really big gap. Starix is an immense power spike. It's mostly Kanavi that's super far ahead. Aiming did actually hit his 2-item power spike, so going to feel okay. BD doesn't quite have his death cap yet. Would have loved that for this fight. And we'll see. As Knight just now finishes his Shadow Flame as well.
Keep your eyes on 369 though. He's got push in mid and could look for a really big flank on KT here.
Look at the vision.
Yeah. Aiming's got decent guns. Does move to a Calibrum for some extra range. And now KT. There's a good point. The charm's too massive from the quickness. As BDD is not going to get bailed out of this one. 369 locks down the first kill. And they are just running them over. Keen is trying to be a blender, but he's just getting blended. JDG, and they look unstoppable.
It is a three-pronged approach from JDG. 369 from one side, Knight teleporting from the other, and KT try to contest this dragon. It's going to cost them everyone but Cuz and a Baron as well.
They don't even care about the Dragon. They know that JDG can immediately turn over towards this Baron. It's such a massive fight from JDG. It's the second time now where KT, they try to get that position, but with having control of the map for JDG, the TP's coming in. I mean, watch this, 369 coming in over the wall. You get the TP to that bot side as well. The lack of control of the wards means KT are the lanes means that KT are way overextended, and Knight is happy to sit in your escape route and cut you off every single time.
And it's the fact that BDD is immediately taken down, right? He's ticking, but not able to actually output any damage, not able to hit a big shockwave. And because of the triple angle that was found there by JDG, there's literally nowhere to go for KT. If you try to go up, you run into 369, Missing is forcing you to respond, and then Knight's coming from the other end. The Red Bull Baron power play for JDG. Generally, they only need one of these.
And this is what we expected to see from JDG coming into the series today. Having control over the lanes, playing around this 6-1 and 6 Kanavi on the Vi, setting up for these big team fights and playing the map out well. And now with the control that they have, this is where JDG shine. Push multiple waves, slowly but surely pick yourself apart, and KT are trying their damnedest to get resources onto Amian as he's going to clear out this top wave tower. But it means that you're going to lose almost everything here on the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, they are just going to be able to take down this inner turret. Inner in the mid lane also falling as Aiming versus 369. Don't like your chances, Aiming, and he's just going to be put in the
Doesn't
ground.
even flash. He's like, nope.
Yeah, no, I think he knew it. As these inhibitor turrets are going to follow soon. Keen looking for some sort of opportunity to keep himself alive, but he's just getting torn apart. Kanavi once again just queuing forward. He is not afraid of anything. Shockwave going to be avoided. Pop Blossom onto 3. And I think this one's done and dusted. An instant triple kill here for Ruler, and he will still keep himself alive. These inhibitors go down. They've got powered up minions. And I think in 26 minutes, JDG will fight back, and they'll fight back hard. It's a best of 3, boys.
What a performance from JDG in game number 2. Playing off of lane stage well, playing the map well, finding the success in the team fights. And KT, anytime they even